taking his time.
There it is.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the 406 Budcast, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, Budcast. We're going to go ahead and head right into our intro, but before we do that, make sure to remember to like, share, subscribe, hit up all your friends, let them know that you're watching the Budcast tonight, and we can't wait to have you.
Montana vibes under the big sky. 406 Budcast gonna get you high. Adam and Tanaki and Nate bringing the heat. No time to wait. From the mountains to the plains, let's fucking up, break your chains. Every topic, every strain in this cannabis domain. 406 Budcast, let's celebrate. Rolling up, it's time to celebrate. Adam and Tanaki and Nate in Montana, we dominate. From the soul of the villas, we're on the map. Lighting up the scene, ain't no cap. Hip-hop beats in the background as we drop knowledge profound. From CBD to THC, we're breaking down the chemistry in this podcast symphony. Come join our THC family.
And welcome back, guys. We've got everyone here from the podcast. You've got myself, Daniel. We've got Adam tonight. We've got Roy, right? Roy from Ninepipe Organics. We will get into the details on that in just a moment. Across the table, we've got Nate, we've got Tanaki, and behind the desk, of course, we have the lovely Hannah and Michelle. Thank you girls very much. How is everyone doing tonight? We got Debbie, we got Calvin. I know we've got more than that out there already. Welcome.
We also have Mike and Nate from Ninepipe Organics joining us in the studio. Appreciate you guys checking in with us.
Thank you very much, Nate. I did miss them. Hello, Joe. Welcome. Kayla, dang, man, we got hella people in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
How you
there
guys
he is.
doing?
They're bopping in.
guys.
We love
So
to
we
see
got
it.
Christine. I'm sure we'll have some folks dropping in through the YouTube and stuff here in just a minute. It's dope. I do want to drop a little heads up on the giveaway tonight. At highlight in the comments, we'll get you guys entered for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate courtesy of Good News Tattoos.
Good
Here
news.
in Billings, Montana. I actually just got the Instagram link. Let's see if I can pull that up here. I literally just got it as I was putting the shares out. Matthew Wilson at Good News Tattoo, news with a Z on Instagram, guys. So you're gonna want to slide over there and check out the work, things like that. He also works over at like Magic City Markers and stuff. You know, he's done a lot of work around town. He actually did this piece right here on my shoulder that was a memorial for my brother and stuff. So shout out to Good News Tattoos and Matthew Wilson for hooking us up right there with that $100 gift certificate, guys. So make sure you're tagging your friends in the chat, getting them in here so we can talk about Ninepipe Organics. We can go over some stoner trivia. We can touch on that strain of the week. We've got some very interesting and fun cannabis news this week.
Very fun.
Yeah.
And of course, those tenacious questions out there that we have from Tanaki.
Smoky's
You know-
wrecking us, guys.
Man, I'll tell you what, I mean,
Shit.
the PhD level of education we're getting around here. It's great stuff.
We've been learning.
I'm pretty sure I did easy questions this week.
Pretty sure.
You said that last week.
Okay, so I said that last week, and then they ended up being fairly difficult. So I tried even harder to do some easier questions. Just a little break, you know.
Plants need what? Water?
Food.
Sunlight. Good job, everybody.
Softball that comes in.
they
like
do
that.
need love. That's correct.
First question is going to be about mycorrhizal fungi. I can feel it already.
Gibberellins.
That was fantastic.
You didn't even get to experience it. It was so hard trying to explain it to you. You just had to be there.
The Varellum joke.
Yeah.
I know, I'm sad I missed that.
I was
part.
here and I still will hear you guys say gibberellin and laugh. And I was like, dude, I guess I was miles away. I had to have been miles away for that one.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, we got Roy here. So we were talking a little bit about your guys' growing, how you guys get some of that goodness that you brought us and shared with us a little bit earlier. Got some beautiful products coming from Ninepipe Organics. You're located in Ashland and Bozeman, right?
Ashland and Bozeman. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And so
we do wholesale in Billings at a couple spots too. So you can find us, follow us on Instagram and we announce our drops. But yeah, we wholesale probably in 20, 30 different locations now,
Okay.
That's awesome.
all over Western Montana, Great Falls.
Very nice.
I'd love to ask a follow-up
Absolutely.
question right off the rip. So, with your name, Ninepipe Organics, it obviously leads to the question, how do you guys grow organically, obviously?
I'm going to throw this to the guys that actually do most of the work. Mike's been instrumental in getting us where we are. He's been with me for about 8 years, I think, and has helped. He's the kind of guy you wanted to grow because he's good at a little bit of everything.
Nice.
You know,
Yeah.
he can build something, and he's real passionate about growing. And then we, got real lucky with Nate as well, who's very, very knowledgeable about the plant itself. So yeah, I'm gonna let them talk about it a little bit.
Sure.
Take it away, guys.
Go ahead, Mike.
I mean, honestly, we started with some really great soil, and we just tried to, feed the soil, feed the microlife that's there, and allow that to nourish our plants. I mean, that's kind of my philosophy,
Let the soil do the walking. You just mend it as you go.
Sure. So what you guys do is a little bit different. Some people, they go down to the grocery store, they grab a bale of soil or, grab a bag of soil, throw, some seeds and some nutrients in there. You guys have more of the living soil beds. We were able to get some video and some footage of that. We'll show a little bit later, but a lot of worms, all kinds of other stuff going on inside there, like true, real microbial life, true, actual, plant life and, bug life as well.
Yeah, we look to nature to solve a lot of issues in our garden. So we're constantly grabbing at things and bringing it into the garden to assist us with the growing process.
And,
Nature's already done the work. We're just trying to bring that nature inside and let it go,
Yeah. Supercharge it up a little bit and let it do its thing.
Yep.
You were going to say,
as well as with the ferments.
we ferment a lot of things in-house. We use 28, 29 different fruits and vegetables that we ferment, that we use as different nutrient sources. We run our own compost. We ferment the plant itself. We make fermented plant juice that we feed back into the plants.
okay, sure.
And we've all come up with some innovative ideas to try to do this a little more economically and a little more natural as well. And that's kind of, I think, the beauty, the strength of our group is we've got a lot of combined experience, but we also bounce ideas off each other all the time, and we're not afraid to try some innovative stuff.
Some good soundboarding.
Sure.
We've definitely failed. We've definitely failed in areas.
I tell people when they try our product and they praise us, I go, that's because we've messed it up every single way there is to some points along the way. It's been a really long time.
Yeah.
We've been in business a long time. And, our combined experience has helped. And we enjoy each other, and that helps a lot too.
Definitely.
Sounds like a great time, man. Like, honestly, I seen some of the media you guys had sent us and stuff like that of the garden. Look absolutely phenomenal. The products you guys have brought out here look absolutely phenomenal. Smell absolutely phenomenal. Work absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you.
So
Good job.
kudos to you guys, man. Just to give them an idea of a little bit of what they got going on over there, we've got a quick video we can throw on to show just a little bit about this grow you guys are talking about. What's going into it.
Definitely.
All right, we're going on.
Streets are buzzing, you can't sleep. Ninepipe Organics ready to reap. From Ashland to Bozeman's hills, we got the vibe that gives you chills. Ninepipe's where the pure meets real. Ashland and Bozeman's got the deal. Health and flavor, that's the seal. Catch that vibe, you'll know the feel. Freshest greens packed with pride. Come to Ninepipe, take the ride. From dawn till dusk, open wide. Organic love, it's nationwide. Nine-Pipe's where the pure meets real.
All right, we're back, guys.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. Just a reminder again that we are having that giveaway, so make sure that you hit @highlight to be included in that. We did have a follow up in chat here. If you want to pull that up on this screen.
Yes.
Sorry. All right. What we have a couple of questions from the chatters here. First off, Mom and Skips over on YouTube's asking, how do you flush your live beds at harvest without destroying the microorganisms?
We simply don't. Flushing to us is, it's completely the opposite of the philosophy we go by. We don't put anything in our beds that needs to be flushed out.
Right.
There's
It's all
nothing in
living
there to
organic
flush.
soil.
Yeah, we never flush anything. Ever.
Yeah, we try to reuse as much as possible. Close the loop, basically.
Absolutely. And there's a ton of great information on living bed systems online that you can kind of look into if you're looking into a little bit more detail on that. We can answer all of your good questions.
We, the last couple of weeks of flour, we're not adding any nutrients or any feed to it. We never just water. I mean, we never ever just water. We're adding microbe, we're adding compost teas, but not late. But we'll give it carbohydrates. We'll give it sugars and molasses fairly late because we still need that to finish. But
yeah, I was going to say the last couple of weeks is
we don't put anything in it that needs to be flushed out. Right?
Yeah.
And living, growing this, it could come from there's so many different ways to grow, if you're growing in cocoa, it's really common, or if you're growing in a lot of other systems. But when you're growing in an organic living soil bed, especially one that is, continually in use, there's not a lot of ways you could flush in the same way that people
you can. It just, you'd have to use a lot of water, and then you'd probably mess up the microlife by flushing.
Yeah. And a lot of waste unnecessary.
And it's harmful.
Yep. You're flushing out nutrients, which can go into the next cycle, microlife. You'd have to vac all that water out because we're in trays. So we try to balance the water as much as
well. We'd have to restock the microlife, and it's just so far. We'll knock on that wood right now. We haven't had any reasons to even consider flushing.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Well,
I know what I was smoking tasted delicious, and it certainly didn't feel like it had anything in there other than really good THC and all the other great terpenes and stuff that you would want in your cannabis.
We're super proud of it, and Nate and Mike have done quite a bit of study to get us to the point where we're these samples were 5.5% terpenes and 4% terpenes. We've been told by the labs in the state that we have consistently the highest terpene counts, and we're proud of that. That's what makes it taste good. So that's what everything we do has been designed to try to get that flavor.
That's awesome. That's super awesome.
flavor first.
Yeah. And a follow-up question. Calvin was curious, what are a couple of your guys' favorite strains over at Ninepipe?
I mean, right now the Res Dog is just popping off. It's delicious.
Yeah, I would say the Res Dog is great, but there's just everything that we bring in the house we like to smoke, and we don't keep something that doesn't taste good. So to be honest with you, you can walk in and try anything at any time, and it's going to be very tasty. But Nate's right. Right now, we're riding the Res Dog pretty hard because it just tastes so good.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
And it's 5.5 terps is it's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah.
It's hard to achieve. We're not. Some of the stuff isn't testing 31% THC. I don't think you could ever tell that by when you actually taste it.
To me, I think the THC hunting is something that's really hurting the cannabis industry. My position on it is a lot like looking for Everclear. For people who are drinking, you can find the Everclear drinks out there that'll mess you up real quick. But if you really want that good flavor, some of the good effects, you're probably going to want to have a really good balance between your THC levels and your terpene levels for sure. Yeah.
We actually grew a strain last year to say tested 7% THC and was probably the best tasting cannabis I've tasted. Maybe
Too much.
it had 5% terps.
Right.
You know, it tastes amazing.
There's no, we have a strain that honestly it doesn't really get above 90%, but
Did I lose it?
It
No, I
doesn't.
think it's still there.
We're still here, Mike, if you can hear us.
You know, that's
Okay.
to me. It's always just been kind of a hollow experience, like drinking.
Absolutely.
Yeah, forbidden fruit. I believe it does 14 to about 18 or 19, THC on average, and the terps on that are usually amazing. It's like a tangerine, like a halo. As soon as you pull it open, like that smell is what you get when you open a bag of forbidden fruit, and then when you smoke it, it actually transfers that flavor exactly into the smoke, and it tore me up.
I'm familiar with it. I've tried it, a couple different fruit, and very, very good. Always, it's a favorite.
yeah,
It's usually very pretty.
yeah, definitely grows nice.
So we've got another question here from Joe. I'm going to go ahead and give this a shot. Kindernecht, and he said, "Do y'all do organic hydro grows too?" So I'll jump into that. I'm actually going to be attempting a ebb and flow hydro system with organic nutrients, and I've never done that before. So I'm really, really interested in hearing what these guys have to say about that.
That would be interesting.
That would be
Go ahead.
kind of fun to try. I mean, you would have some hurdles to clear for sure, but
Yeah, how much
I've always
soil
wanted to try it
are we
myself.
doing that?
All great questions. So for the ebb and flow system, I will be running 5-gallon cocoa buckets, and then
Yeah.
I'll probably be. I mean, I'll just read the plants, right? But
Yeah.
it's suggested 3 to 5 times a day. So we'll see how
Yeah.
that all plays.
I've done an ebb and flow system before, but it was hydroponic, and that's a little different because the nutrients don't go as stagnant and old as quick, probably. But I bet you it'd be a fun experience. And bottom feeding is pretty aggressive. You can feed aggressively.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Should be a lot of fun.
I personally don't have any experience growing hydro. It's always been soil, but I think Nate has, like you said.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
I'll keep out of that conversation. I don't have much. I've never done hydro. I've always enjoyed the soil.
We've done it aeroponically, and it's worked out really well that way. You can get a lot of good control over your nutrient by your precipitation that's coming back out and back into your reservoir. I know a lot of people who are starting to add fish and other things into their reservoirs. That way, it's more of a living hydroponic system, and you got that aquaponics inclusion.
Wow. I've never heard of that.
For real.
There's some very unique stuff out there. Joe on our Facebook says that he wish he has the skills to do it. He follows some groups on Facebook that are organic hydro grows. So I guess it's out there.
Yeah.
Of course,
Wow.
wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think there's like a Facebook group for just about everything.
Yeah, no kidding. Absolutely,
You know?
absolutely. Well, I think that's somewhat a good transition into maybe our strain of the week this week. Speaking about strains, what do you guys think? We talk a little bit about Jack H.
Jack Herrera, man. I mean, definitely been a cannabis cup winner, if I can remember correctly in what year it was, dude. So let's see what we got here. Jack Herrera, also known as Jack H, the Jack Premium Jack, Platinum Jack. Jesus Christ.
You don't know
let me tell
Jack.
you. A sativa dominant marijuana strain that has gained much renown from its namesake, the marijuana activist and author, The Emperor Wears No Clothes. Did not know this. Combines a haze hybrid with a Northern Lights number 5 and a Shiva skunk. Ooh, skunk strains though. Crosses Cincy Seeds created with Jack Herrera, hoping to capture both cerebral elevation and heavy resin production. Its rich genetic background gives rise to several different variations of Jack Herrera. Each phenotype brings its own unique features and effects. It says here, leafy blah. See, weed words, guys. Weed words. Leafly reviewers, consumers typically describe 55% sativa-leaning hybrid as blissful, clear-headed, and creative. Jack Herrera was created in the Netherlands in the mid-1990s. I almost said 1900s.
Mid
I wouldn't put
1900.
it past them though. Like life was rough in the 1900s over there, dude. Like And they were really needing something to be up and blissful about.
I mean, they had all those mushrooms that they were definitely enjoying over there in those regions for sure.
Okay.
All right. Tanaki, you want to touch on the terpenes that are in that Jack Herrera?
Dang, got me want to try to touch drink. So the dominant terpenes are going to be terpene, which is fruity flavored, caryophyllene, which is that classic pepper, and pinene, which is that classic pine.
Gonna get that pine.
Yeah, I've grown a couple of different phenos of Jack H myself, and I've experienced a lot of the citrus flavor profiles in it as well myself.
I think it's in the grow right now over there at 406 Organics, right? I
Yeah.
think you guys got it going in the
This will be her last time.
Yeah, she's an ugly girl.
She
like,
is
I
a
mean,
brat.
Literally.
for our garden, she is way too
Done.
high maintenance, and so
Yeah.
she has earned her way to the exit. You
Our
know,
you
last-
guys run the Sea of Green, right?
yeah, we run Sweet Green on the Botanicare slide tables. We don't do the ebb and flow. We actually still hand water everything we do over there. And I have to give credit to Tanaki and Hannah and Daniel and Michelle and a lot of other people. I mean, I get in there and help a little bit, but most of it is primarily them. So everybody on our crew sort of takes care of every aspect of the 406 Organics life. And, you know, it's sounds like the same with you guys over there at Ninepipe, that you got a very tight crew, everybody taking care of everything that needs to happen.
Yeah, we bounce back and forth between shops. We have 3 shops, so Nate handles one by himself. Mike handles 99% of the work at the 2 other shops. So, and I bounce around, do what I can.
Yeah.
You know, I used to do 100% of the gardening, and then hired Mike and did about 50% of the gardening, and now maybe do. I mean, I might be generous if I did 10%. I do pull every plant out of the screen, so that I still.
He does pull every plant.
Fun job.
Yeah, I get the goods. I get
That's the
the. I
best
get
part.
We joke he shows up in his Corvette and starts chopping plants.
So
I most definitely do not have a Corvette.
I saw you pull up in it.
Yeah.
I remember what you were saying there with the headset, because you guys started laughing and I was like,
Yeah, that's what I
I was like, what the hell? Oh no, you're good. You're good. I just totally forgot. I was like, yo, I cannot hear them. Right
Adam got left out of the conversation,
now. The
unfortunately.
laugh burst out. And I'm like, wait, what happened? Is it
We
me?
ran
Did I do
a Jack Cross, a Jack back cross.
Okay.
Jack Herrera. Well, I ran Jack, the original Jack back 2009, 2010. A huge yielder, but not tight buds. It just wasn't unmarketable now. But we ran across a back cross, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, Mike.
Yeah.
It was Jack Herrera back cross to skunk number 1,
Yeah.
the skunk number 1, and that really gave it some density, but it leaned very haze.
Okay.
Okay, it did. Interesting. I was wondering.
Super popular strain, but we've crossed it into a couple different things because I'm sure you've noticed the same thing. We think eventually after multiple clones, you get some genetic drift, and it's just not the same plant.
Yeah.
as when you started. So,
Well, and that's one of the things that I look forward to next week. We're supposed to have Ryan from Athena on, and they do the tissue culture sampling, and we're going to go over some of that. And I'd like to get into that a little more. I know that that's a way to clean up the genetics and to really come around to saving some of those plants that may be getting pretty stressed.
it's a long project.
Yeah.
It-
Yeah. And you got to be very clean about it. I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty intense from what I understand.
I understand it's 18, can be 18 months back to a clonable plant.
Sure. Okay.
Can be.
Yeah.
I don't know. We haven't done it. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we definitely have to tune in next week as well. But also get in that comment section there, folks. Get that highlight out there so we can get this tattoo gift certificate given away. That's something that you could probably use for Christmas. Maybe get a flash tattoo or something up.
Currently
there.
16 entries.
Mike, you're ready for a new one, aren't you?
I've got plenty of skin to fill up for sure. I see
Certainly.
Calvin Vondra on Facebook asked if we did KNF. And I would say that what best describes us is it's a hybrid KNF. The KNF feeds our soil, but your plants still need food. So we're trying to you know, it's a delicate balance. I don't think that KNF has enough nutrient value to sustain a cannabis plant in the flowering stage. It needs more, you know. I think that the KNF feeds our beds, our microlife, our bacteria, and in which returns in it breaks down the top dresses that we give it, you know.
So you're seeing with the increase in the red light during the flower stage, you probably need a little bit more of a different supplement for that.
Yeah.
Yep. And
we did trial and error. We tried the whole KNF through the entire flower period, and it did not bode well.
It was very tasty. Very tasty. It did not yield though. Didn't give us the yields, and we could see that the plants wanted more.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, if you're gonna do a trial, you got to see it through. So we saw it through, and we saw where we could put it into the system.
And then the person that pays the bill said, "Let's try something else."
So, just for the people out there who don't really understand and maybe new to this, what exactly are you talking about with the KNF?
Fermented fruit, and then we, as well as, like Roy said, we ferment the plant itself and give it back to the soil. We ferment root stocks, give it back to the soil. We also go out and find, plants that are like mullein and lupin, which is nitrogen fixing, and bring it in, and we'll ferment that, give it to the soil, as well as cover crops. We'll ferment cover crops. We'll grow specific cover crops that we know address situations in our soil or our solutions in our soil.
So you're doing a lot of what the farmers and stuff like that are out there in the agricultural world, just more of on a micro scale indoors.
Yep. Yeah. Well, the great thing about indoors is we can pick and choose. Outside you get so many factors, and you can do it outside. I know a lot of people that do it outside, but the great thing about the indoor soil beds that we have is we can selectively choose what we want and break it down as how it's necessary in the system that we're feeding. Nice.
It's always nice to take something that's blooms in the spring, like a dandelion, wait for it to bloom, and you just go out, pick a big bucket of that and give it a good ferment, and so that covers a lot of the
typically when that happens around here, it gets turned into water.
It does stink. It depends on how you ferment. If you ferment anaerobically, it definitely stinks. If you ferment with sugar, you can literally drink it yourself, or alcohol. You can take shots of cinnamon and garlic shots. But
the things about like dandelion that are great is it has a bunch of rapid growth hormones. That's why it grows so fast, it flowered so fast. So, we ferment that specifically for veg. That isn't something we'd use in flour. But those are the things we're trying to get out of the ferments as well. It's not just like straight nitrogen or NPK. We get these hormones and acids that affect the growth.
Yeah.
And we're trying to steer the plants through those those processes.
Well, and these are good things for people to know as well. If they're trying to grow tomatoes or anything else in the garden, these growing techniques can translate to just about anything, including cannabis.
It certainly
100%.
These fermentation techniques certainly didn't originate with cannabis. It's been stolen. It was food sources.
Definitely.
For sure.
I think my dad got the story wrong. I think I told you about this one time. My dad told me, he was like, if you some weed and it's not so good, you could put an old apple, cut it up, and go throw it under the soil with it in the bag of weed, which I think this is where the miscommunication happened. This is what he was trying to tell me, but years and years of smoking and drinking and hard living, I guess the story got a little telephoned, it's changed up. But he was
maybe
like,
that's selective. hearing of a son.
Yeah, well, maybe it could be not, because I distinctly remember I was like, no, dude, that's going to get mold. I was like, that's going to get mold. There's no way that's going to be safe. I was like, is the mold going to make it better? Because I don't know if I want to smoke the mold.
There is a process of wet fermentation for cannabis.
Okay.
That is it's used in Asia because the humidity is so high
Bury it.
that they bury it.
Wow.
They can't ever dry it. And so it's a wet fermentation process. We've talked about it. We've talked about trying it a couple times.
Yeah, it's calving, right? I think it's called calving.
Then we're like, it's already.
I don't want to waste it. So, but yeah, there is a fermentation process. So he made him, he probably knew what he was talking about.
I mean, he was an
At
old
least he
school
wasn't
stoner.
completely wrong.
Yeah, he just said you throw like some apple slices in the bag with the weed and then bury the bag, and you go back in about a week. And I was like, nah, dude, that sounds like I'm going to die.
Hey, how do they do it with like banana leaves, don't they? Is that what the process is?
Corn husks. They wrap it in
Corn
corn and then
Yeah.
get it real tight so there's no oxygen, and then bury it.
Yeah.
And the oxygen, actually, the lack of oxygen under the ground is what ferments it.
That's it.
Okay.
And then
That's pretty cool. So,
We got to try it.
yeah,
I've never tried it. I've only read about
Yeah,
it.
we already read about it.
and
Researched
folks,
a lot.
this is a perfect time for us to throw out that disclaimer that this is for educational purposes only. Do not try this shit at home.
And if you do, don't blame us.
Yeah.
And if you have,
If you fuck with your weed.
Please send it
don't
to us.
email it to us.
Yeah. I know.
At 406podcastcorporate.com.
At gmail.com.
gmail.com.
Yeah. Or if it happens to end up on the Montana Dispensary Deals page, you posted it there, we might see it. It might end up on the show, but technically don't see it. Don't send it to us.
Don't send it to us. I think that's how all those shows, state it, and then they
ridiculousness.
have like all of the absolute facts that happen on those shows. So
Oh, man. Yeah, ridiculousness.
don't
It was
send
like
it.
the top thing on MTV for like 10 years straight.
it makes you wonder, like as a society, how much we just crave that absolute just chaos.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Sometimes you're like, yeah, you had that one coming, but then other times you do it like, yeah, we're falling off as a society if we just want to watch people slam and laugh at it all day long. But then they slam, and you're like, damn, look at that, and you're right back in. I don't know how they do it, dude. I don't know. It's like, what is it from Ricky Bobby when he's talking to him on the phone from the mansion, and he's like, he's like, how the fuck, man? He's like, I'm not friends with you anymore. And he's like, yeah, man, but you're gonna hang out Saturday. He's just right back. He's like, yeah, man, we can probably. Yeah, you do that. You're like, man, this show makes me question society, and then you just watch one, and you're like, oh shit, I'm hooked right back into it.
That one friend, you're just like, bro, like, I don't know, but you keep hanging out, so I guess we're friends no matter what. Well, cool stuff. So the Jack H over there went over that real quickly.
We didn't do our video.
Oh my gosh, we didn't do our video, and I was
No
gonna
video,
mention,
no song.
The Jack Herrera that we actually just harvested, the main cola on one of them was the size of my head.
Yeah.
Like the whole time they were all really short, bushy, just kind of whatever, and intermingled with our other plants. And we took all the other ones down and realized that one was for the Jack H. I wish we uploaded that picture to
For the
show.
win.
It's hilarious.
That was the one you guys were growing for yourself in your own garden.
No, here.
That was
Oh,
that was
Picture
the-
light greens and
That's right. I remember that picture.
Yep.
Yeah, you did send that.
I don't know if it'll show up. Oh, not very well. Oh, there we go. Kind
There we
of.
go.
But yeah, that thing was the size of my head.
It's always sad breaking those up for Kieran, right? Because there's no way
Well, it was like,
get that through
it
the
was
process.
wide. Like it was thick too. Yeah. Poor thing.
But we had
Anyway.
great test results with that one, so stop on by 406 Organics. So we're 26% on our Jack H.
Nice.
26%.
18%
Yeah.
plant.
Nice.
all right. We're gonna start our video.
All right.
You got about 2.5 minutes, gentlemen.
Smoke sensitive.
Cruising down the back roads, Jack Herrera in my hand. Green bus so sticky, aromas fill the land. Fields of dreams, yeah, puffing on the green. Country boy vibes, living life supreme. Jack Herrera, I feel it oh so fine. Cactus moonshine mixed with that pine. Blowing smoke rings underneath the stars. Cowboy hat loads from beneath guitars. Barnyard hustle boots covered in dust, rolling up the good stuff in the green we trust. Ain't no better feeling than a Jack Herer night. Rooster, crow at dawn, keep the vibe tight. Jack Herer, high, feeling oh so fine. Cactus moonshine mixed with that pine. Blowing smoke rings underneath the stars. Cowboy hat low, strumming these guitars. Legends, whispers on the wind. Old folks sitting, sipping, shine where it all begins. Puff, puff, passing, stories growing old. Jack Herer remedy, pure green gold. Fence post leaning, gazing at the sky. Eyes half closed, riding that high. Whiskey in the mason jar, moonlight gleam. Jack Herer's magic, a country boy's dream. Jack Herer, high, feeling oh so fine. Cactus moonshine mixed with that pine. Blowing smoke rings underneath the stars. Cowboy hat low, strumming these guitars. Talking about the legends, whispers on the wind. Old folks sitting, sipping, shine where it all begins. Ain't no better feeling than a Jack Herer night. Rooster, crow at dawn, keep the vibe tight. Jack Herer, high, feeling oh so fine. Cactus moonshine mixed with that pine. Blowing smoke rings underneath the stars. Cowboy hat low, strumming these guitars. Strumming these guitars. Talking about the legends, whispers on the wind. Old folks sitting, sipping, shine where it all begins. Puff, puff, passing, stories growing old. Jack Herer remedy, pure green gold. Jack Herer, high, feeling oh so fine. Cactus moonshine mixed with that pine. Blowing smoke rings underneath the stars. Cowboy hat low, strumming these guitars. Strumming these guitars.
All right, guys, we're back here with the crew from Ninepipes Organics over here, and we've got Roy in the studio with us. We've got Nate and Mike out there joining us remote, sharing all their wisdom and knowledge with us. So before we got into the show, we were able to talk a little bit about your passion for cannabis, how you got into it. And how you guys got your name. You want to share some of those stories with us?
I mean, I've had a passion for cannabis since somewhere in the neighborhood of junior high, close to 50 years.
Like the great many of us.
Yeah. We don't drink. My wife and I, Terry, who owns this business, she's the president, and she's definitely the matriarch. You know, she's a fierce Northern Cheyenne woman. But we worked together for many years. We owned a hazardous waste consulting business, and we were up negotiating a contract, and we were in northwestern Montana, and on the way back we were celebrating with a fat joint. You know, we won this contract. We were pretty excited about it, and we started to drive onto the Salish Kootenai reservation where my family's from, and I know that's where you're from as well.
Yeah.
And Terry, her voice starts to get a little bit more of her accent, for her lame deer accent in, and she goes, you know, this is just beautiful country. It's definitely Indian country. And I agreed, beautiful, beautiful country. And we drive past this sign. She says, just like that, there, Ninepipe Reservoir. And I said, what'd you say? And she said, yeah, Ninepipe Reservoir. And I went about a quarter mile, and I said, I'm pretty sure that was Ninepipe, babe. And we laughed so hard that we about drove off the road. It became an inside family joke. Terry's gotten an awful lot of grief over it for a very long time. And she's getting one more now tonight, so I'll hear about this.
I see her out there in the chat. So Terry, thank you for allowing him to share that story with us at your expense.
So at any rate, later, a couple 3 years later, Terry was diagnosed with liver cancer, and that's how we got into the cannabis industry. Is we needed a source for Simpson oil. It worked. It helped, and cannabis has helped us on. You know, has helped her on her cancer journey. It's going on 14 years. I gave her, you know, prognosis was very bad to start with. And
Sure.
we're here 14 years and 11 grandkids later. So
Wow.
but that's how the name Ninepipe came about. We were up against a deadline to name the business to get our corporate entity, and I was out at the grow and Terry was at home, and we were struggling to come up with the name. And I just kind of jokingly said, well, you know, we could always call it Ninepipe, and we laughed for a minute, and then decided that Ninepipe had a good ring.
Yeah.
You know, and we're happy with it. It's, you know, it
And the logo.
we're native owned. We're proud of that, and we wanted to represent that.
Definitely.
You know, it's a familiar name. So
And if you ever get up to that area, you know, the Nine Pipes Reservoir area is great. The lodge is also a beautiful place to stay. You wake up, see the beautiful Mission Range back there.
I think
Crow
the Mission
Canyon,
Range
all that.
is
Yeah.
the prettiest mountain range in Montana, in my opinion. This is stunning. You know, it's
I'm a
so
bit biased,
majestic,
but yeah.
and it's right there.
As soon as you crest that hill from Ravalli going into St. Ignatius, being born in St. Ignatius and then seeing the garden wall and everything there, it's
It's
just
incredible.
that's a
The
beautiful
Ram's
scene.
Head. I mean, it's
I actually woke up to that. He took me to Nine Pipes in the middle of the night, never being up on his reservation. And it was absolutely amazing to open up the curtains and see that in the morning. And I was like, this is absolutely the most beautiful thing I'd seen.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous.
it's beautiful.
Yeah, you know, when I was a kid, growing up in that area, it was small town USA, obviously back in, you know, that era, and so you just wanted to get away from there as quick as possible. You know, there was something that was over the mountain that was much better. It was New York City. Everything was going to be great. And then, you know, as you get a little bit older, you're like, man, that scenery is definitely something to go home back to. So, well, yeah, that's you know, I appreciate the sharing that story, and Terry, you know, I appreciate the funny part about it is actually those of us who are from the area, we say that jokingly as an inside joke. We call it ninny pippies, and so she had it almost right. Well, I think we have some hellacious questions coming our way.
Oh yeah, dude, Stoner Trivia is up, but we do want to remind everybody, hit @highlight in that comment section. Get yourself entered for a chance to win this $100 gift certificate to good news tattoos, courtesy of Matthew Cush Williams and the team over there at Good News Tattoos.
So did you put yourself in the algorithm to win again?
I mean, I hit @highlight, but I mean, I hope I don't win. If I do, we just re-roll. I was just trying to tag people too. So, but yeah, none of us count in that giveaway. You know, nobody here.
We all know.
We have a monthly original art painting giveaway at our stores.
Okay.
But at both locations, so you can come in and register for these paintings. And
Yeah.
just behind Nate back there, but the same girl has won 3 months in a row. I'm like, and we video it, you know, I mean, no one's looking at the tickets. It's like something. This algorithm needs to change. We need to more random selection than digging in a bucket.
Or you got to talk to your bud tender. She might be, you know, slipping.
I
back in
wondered if she wasn't getting some free coffee out of it. She's a coffee shop owner. So yeah,
nice.
Funny thing you mentioned. You know,
She feeds her full of caffeine. We make sure she's full of THC. It works out.
Hey, there you go. Everybody's happy, right?
So the painting behind Nate's head there of the fish butts, that was actually painted by Hannah's sister.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
that's
my
I
sister-in-law,
love
Katie Clements, or Katie Lundstad is her maiden name. She did a lot of stuff up in Great Falls with the Fly Fisherman's Banquet and stuff up there. We had property for our family up in Craig, so spent a lot of time up in the fishing community up there. Is it Isaac's, the restaurant up there? They've got a lot of her stuff up there, so it's really fun to be able to showcase a little bit of my sister's stuff on the wall.
I have a large fish tattooed on my back. I mean, I don't have it. So yeah,
That's awesome. She does such beautiful, realistic stuff with fish. There's one of my dad when he was in Baja, Mexico. of, I don't even know what fish it is. It's just that vibrant, bright aqua blue. And it's just my dad's hands, you know, like it's just perfect. It's awesome to see that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
that's great. I love
I'm
that.
pretty sure this one over your shoulder right here with the heartbeat and the cannabis leaf, that was brought in by some guests, Adam and Gina. Was it her family that had painted that?
Yeah, so
Mom.
they actually owned a dispensary for quite a long time out there in the Butte area, and it was her mom. They had that hanging up in their dispensary. They were some warriors back in the day, just like Roy and his wife Terry. When the call was sent out to try to keep medical cannabis here in Montana, they were the first people to step up and throw down checks and really show up back in the day. Sure.
We've got a pretty long relationship, not relationship, but at least, we've been running the same roads for quite a while.
Yeah, that for over a decade for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we've got that stoner trivia video, and then we will jump into those questions, guys. So make sure you get those thinking caps on. We'll be right back.
You.
Smoking like a Rasta, feeling so high. We talk about cannabis and getting fly. Are you smarter than a stoner? Let's find out. Listen up,
B, the
my
plant's
friends.
flavor
I
and
got
aroma
something to
compounds.
shout. Cannabis
C, the plant's
knowledge,
fibers.
let it flow through your mind. Getting blazed, smoking loud, we all unwind. Trivia questions, can you keep up the pace? Let's see if you're sharper in this smoky haze.
Oh shoot.
And we're back.
It always cuts us off.
Welcome back to Are You Smarter Than a Stoner?
So you will have your multiple choice right there. Usually what we'll do is once we get the questions, we'll pick our answer there and we just kind of hold it up to our forehead.
Yep.
And then once everybody gets a chance in the chat to kind of answer and things like that, Tamaki will give us our answers.
The answer is B.
Usually.
Usually.
So rude. We love you.
We should get a program to just run back all of our videos
So
so
are we-
statistically, like percentage-wise out.
Oh yes.
Do we show them that way? Or is it-
Let's take a slide. All right.
That was like a week or two ago.
Woohoo!
Uh-oh.
Right,
It is downloaded. If you go to present and then files, you should be able to see it right there. Go up to slides and PDFs, and it should be in there. If you go to your computer at the very bottom, and then Are You Smarter Than a Stoner? 11:22. No.
No, it's
It's
12.
uploading. It's right there.
Hannah's on it. She's awesome.
But that might
Way to
also
go.
be this is the wrong computer. Well, we're gonna move on. To
We've got
Yeah,
we've got
and,
He's like,
I will
can
get
fix
this stoner trivia going in the meantime.
well we appreciate our behind the scenes crew there, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. Technical difficulties within a stoner podcast. Who knew? Who knew?
No.
You're like, what? You guys like, yeah.
I think we've done very, very well.
Is that it?
Yeah, and awesome.
No.
If you go to the email and then look in the
Oh, you
top
did it
there,
again.
you should be able to see the file. Just re-click download and then do the same process, and it'll be in those downloads.
We're gonna get it, folks. So
Each of us knows a little
meanwhile,
something.
while we're waiting for those stoner questions, I think we can talk a little bit more about Ninepipes Organics out there. So Ashland, and you said that you guys do a little bit something different with your stores. You set them up a little more of a rustic feel.
Yeah, we we're native owned, so that's our vibe for sure. We've got a lot of original native art in all of our stores.
Yeah.
We wanted them to kind of look like an old trading post or stage stop. So we've got tin ceilings, the tin effect in the ceilings, and we have a lot of tin around the shops, a lot of unfinished wood. It's a rustic vibe. We want it to be Montana.
Yeah.
We want it to feel comfortable. I personally don't like buying weed at the Apple store,
Right.
But I'm also I'm a dinosaur. The industry has changed so dramatically since we started. So we wanted someplace that we were comfortable at.
definitely.
I totally
Well, and
get that. We rustic here, you know, like
I
we
really like the
definitely
vibe. I
to
feel
have
very
the
comfortable. in this.
rustic.
thank you.
This is how we would have done it as well.
You know, I hear you talking about, you know, the boutique shops and how you guys do it and stuff like that. I really hope that we can, with the upcoming legislative session, we can try to preserve a lot more of that. I mean, we do have some of the bigger players coming in and stuff like that, and I know that that's just a necessary part of the market anywhere. But you know, I think Montana is unique in the fact that we also have, if you look at on the Taverns Association side, we have microbreweries and stuff out there that are, you know, really essential to Montana's economy. And I think the micro growers and the people who are actually boutique growers and trying to grow a good quality product versus just pushing something mass weight out the door as quick as possible.
Yeah, I mean, we could change our methods tomorrow and become friends with Ryan, who you're having next week, and probably increase our yields by 2, maybe 3%.
Yeah.
We didn't get in the business. I mean, obviously we have to make a living and we have to make money. And I would like to pay, you know, I'd like to pay these guys what they're worth.
Yeah.
And unfortunately that doesn't happen a lot. You know, I pay them what I can, but you know, that might not necessarily always be what they're worth. But we didn't approach the business that way. We needed medicine.
Right.
And that's it's always been that approach. We want it to be something as clean and pure as we can get. And that often, you know, that also relates to taste. You know, if you do that, if you're able to achieve that, you're going to get good flavor as well.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I mean, the results are definitely in the packaging that you brought for sure.
Sure. You know,
Can you add up to the camera and show the packaging?
Yeah.
Yeah, there'll always be a room for, you know, good quality tasting cannabis, you know, just like there is when you go to your local brewery. You want a good IPA, you go to your local brewery, you get your favorite beer. You always get that taste that you like. We have that same thing, and there's always going to be a market for that. And hopefully people will notice the same thing.
that's Mike's work on that packaging. That's when I talk about having, you know, you need, Nate does most of the social media for us. And Mike did this design. So, you know, when you're small like us and we're trying to, you know, maintain good quality, it's great to have guys that have some other skills as well. You know, besides the passion for the plant, that's the number one thing. We're all like we've mentioned, we don't grow things that we don't want to smoke ourselves.
Yeah,
you know, and that may not be the greatest business acumen on earth, but you know, I think we all feel pretty good about our souls.
Well, and you
We're
can stand
doing it
behind
for
your
the
product
right-
as well. And I
for
think
sure.
that's great business acumen. Yeah, I think a lot of people these days, they don't care whether or not they stand behind their product. I mean, and so it's just a bottom line number to them.
Yeah.
And I think businesses need to really
It's more than
focus
a
a little
commodity.
more on that.
I mean, I understand that it's a commodity,
Yeah.
but it's more than a commodity to all of us.
Yeah.
Well, and I
Definitely.
feel like it keeps it pretty fresh too, because I mean, all of our tastes change. We want different things at different times of the day, even, you know. So ourselves, we're going to fluctuate a lot. I mean, I feel like we grow a little bit for what we want to smoke too.
Yeah.
I'm not going to deny that. I get really mouth drooly when I look at some of our rooms, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like it just kind of keeps the market fresh a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Hannah, we grow lavender because it is the greatest producer out there, period. It's not that it's one of my favorites
Yeah.
or Michelle's favorites or everybody else's favorite.
Yeah.
And I
It's a
totally agree
foundation
that,
strain.
you know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's a foundation strain in a lot of stuff that a lot of people grow. If they
Yeah.
actually know what it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, lavender strain is one of my favorites. I've enjoyed it. It's just one of those nice, good body relaxing, just, you know, sort of easy Sunday morning kind of highs.
I think what we're proudest of is I've been to some shops that are, you know, that run everything on a certain nutrient line, and I don't think there's a lot. Their quality's great. The
Right.
THC is great. You know, I would have a hard time occasionally differentiating between which strain I had just smoked. They all kind of taste the same a little bit. Not bad, just kind of the same.
Yeah. No, I agree
So
with
I'm
that.
really proud of that. Ours are distinctly different.
Agreed. Yeah. Well,
I
are we
think we
ready
can
for
start
them
trivia.
questions?
we are ready.
certainly ready.
All right, we're getting into it.
We figured it out, guys.
Let's get ready to. Yeah.
Nice.
Trivia.
Can't you be both?
We'll try to get you guys back and forth on either side, but it's easier to catch you all in one. It's really bad.
We've got tall ass Daniel back here. Sorry, guys. He's not headless.
Belly.
I have the right question here. All right. Which genetic factor primarily determines whether a cannabis plant will exhibit purple coloration? A. High THC levels in the plant. B. Anthocyanin production, which increases the cooler temperatures with cooler temperatures. Damn, sorry guys. C. Increased exposure to UV light, or D. Nutrient deficiencies during the flowering stage.
Tells you about that bee, didn't
Said the weed word.
Our stickies are wearing off. All right, what are our comments out here, guys?
We got a C in the comments. We got a B from Joe, B from Calvin. I see a lot of B's across the studio there. We got a B back there with Daniel.
Christine in with a C.
Terry's in with a B.
Terry with the B.
Yeah, Roy here with a B.
Nobody with the B. We got nobody back.
Nate's got a B.
Some guy named Nobody, like standing behind Hannah.
All we see is belly.
The correct answer is B.
Oh man, imagine she dropped something on us. No.
Actually, it's
Wrong. All wrong.
That would be how
That would have been last week. Sorry.
We all failed last week.
number 2. Why are feminized seeds commonly used in cannabis cultivation?
Ooh.
A. They produce a higher yield than regular seeds. B. They eliminate the risk of male plants pollinating females, ensuring resin-rich flowers without seeds. C. They are genetically modified to be resistant to pest and disease. Or D. They allow faster vegetative growth compared to auto-flowering seeds.
I'm actually super curious. So we've had a couple of different guests come on, and we've talked about feminized versus regular. Some people claim feminized versus regular, you won't really see a major difference in production. Some people claim that you will or won't. What do you guys think about that?
Personally, and Nate and Mike can certainly chime in, but we prefer to not grow feminized seeds. We have a few that are feminized, but
Sure.
I think you have more initial vigor out of running non-feminized seeds.
Okay, interesting.
More of a full spectrum.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, I definitely would prefer regular. The genetic diversity is just a way bigger field to play with, so you can get those gems. Whereas the feminized it's kind of a bottleneck in my opinion. There are gems in it, and yeah,
Right, I was gonna say, it depends on what breeder the femmes are coming from. If they're from a reputable breeder who's already went through and found an absolute gem and then feminized it, then yeah, go for it. But if you're looking for something special that you can, that's
your own phenome.
I'm just a fan of the genetic lottery. You find that golden strain through regular seeds, in my opinion. I mean, you can with feminized, but
I think we've had better luck. Although one of our best strains, one of the best tasting and testing strains, is called Killer Bees, and those were definitely feminized seeds.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is crazy because we had two different choices from there, and they're all feminized, and they all had completely different growths, completely different tastes, and completely different colors
of those same feminized seeds, and we have continued to run two different phenols of them for a couple 3 years now because they are even a feminized pack.
Okay.
Wow.
But I still think that I think they lack a little bit of vigor.
Sure.
Personally.
Yeah, no, that's I think it's a really good debate that a lot of people are talking about, and I think it's a great conversation piece that it needs to happen a lot more.
Sure. We have some internal debates because Nate would like to breed every plant to every other plant. Because we
just want a bag of mystery seeds.
We want to find that. He wants to find that winner, and he
wants to pollinate the world.
He does.
I'm gonna do it.
He's about ready to have a second kid, so he's working. He's doing
He's doing it in real life.
He's doing it fun.
Propagation is on his brain.
I'm a breeder.
Way to go, buddy! Congratulations.
There's a dude in Virginia, like right after they went recreational, they went straight recreational. They didn't have dispensaries lined up. They didn't have anything distribution wise for anyone to get cannabis. They were like, "Yo, cannabis is legal, recreationally." There was a Johnny Appleweed or whatever, and because he had thousands upon thousands of seeds, he could just, what he was doing before it went legal. But yeah, he just had just immense sums that he literally put out, and it made the news. He was telling people, if you need seeds, come see him, and he would or reach out and he would mail you seeds, and you guys could start growing your own cannabis. That is a pioneer right there for the Virginia area, helping everybody get out there and really start growing their own cannabis now that it was legal and nobody had an outlet for any sort of
I had a patient that had kept every seed he'd ever collected from Vietnam, from when he was in the Vietnam War, and he gave them to me, and they were in an enamel box, and I mean it was full, but they were all just in an enamel box. There was no, he didn't have 4 stars on it. I still never, it's like there could be something fantastic.
Mystery box.
It's fairly unlikely.
It's just A1, A2, A3.
They were just in a box. I mean, there was 100,000 seeds.
Holy smokes.
It was unbelievable.
That'd be a hell of a find. Well, I mean, as we're talking though, I got a sticky note stuck to my head.
Yes, the correct answer to that last question was B.
B.
There's that B again.
That makes sense. I will say, as a follow-up on that, though, as long as you sex your plants before you flower them, or anyway, there are methods, then you should be safe to clone anything non-feminized as well from there.
Definitely.
Yeah. All right.
And then there's ways of making the feminized plants actually seed out as well, right?
Yeah. Colloidal silver.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3. How do autoflower cannabis plants differ genetically from photoperiod plants? A. Autoflowering plants switch from vegetative to flowering stage based on age, while photoperiod plants require changes in light cycles. B. Photoperiod plants have more chromosomes than autoflowering plants. C. Autoflower plants are hybrids of cannabis indica and cannabis sativa.
It's okay, Mike.
Whereas photoperiod plants are period strains. Or D. Photoperiod plants are more stable than autoflowering plants.
It's the chromosome.
It's the extra chromosome. That's just what your mom told you, buddy.
Bruh, I knew it's in there somewhere, man.
You're in good company around here.
Wow,
Seen a bunch of A's in chat.
I don't know though. An extra
You got a
chromosome.
lot of smart stoners. I'm so proud.
Chromosome tend to have some ridiculous strength. So I mean, if there was an extra chromosome in a cannabis plant, maybe
It's been done. Humboldt Seeds just did a diploid, I believe it's called.
Triploid.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a good friend that spent a substantial sum on the seeds, random ones, and said, "This is not the way."
I can see that.
Not the way. Local.
Okay.
in
You can
Billings.
also receive
Okay.
triploid mutation as
From
a
Humboldt.
random.
Yes.
Makes
So it's
sense.
like they did with the freak show strains. Those seeds are pretty expensive, like 120, 150 a pack. And I mean, freak show is not something that's going to be commercially produced anywhere, just for the way it's growing and its production amount and things like that. But I mean, I think it's super freak. That one looks like poison sumac.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to smoke any poison sumac. Thanks, bud.
I've had bad experiences. Maybe it's just PTSD with the poison sumac. When you see the weed and it looks, I'll be like, nah, you ain't fooling me.
So don't keep us in suspense here. What do we got?
The correct answer is A.
Woo! Smart stoners.
Yeah.
Damn. I thought it was special.
And last but not least, number 4. What genetic factor determines the terpene profile of a cannabis plant? A. The size of the plant's trichomes. B. The environmental conditions during growth. C, the specific combination of genes regulating terpene synthesis enzymes. Or D, the amount of light received during flowering. I know there's a lot more that these bears.
Yo, let me find out. I can just walk in there with a spotlight, like the bat signal, and just put it on there and grow dank ass weed. Let me put that signal right on it.
I know these are very simplified answers compared to what we've talked about tonight.
Oh no, that's good. We needed a break from the brain busters of last week where we were hurting.
Man. Had to have like Chat GPT in the brain to answer some of those questions.
I'll give it a little while, man.
There's
Elon Musk
some
is
I
working
can
on that
read.
Neuralink.
Hey, buddy.
I know what the answer is, but there's two answers in there, in my opinion. That
Yeah, I agree.
That happens sometimes.
For sure.
That
I'm
does
going to go
happen
with,
sometimes.
I think what is the stronger answer. But
Yeah.
I think there's
What
debate.
they expect.
I'm gonna go with the basic answer.
I'm gonna go with the I'm going C.
See,
Yeah.
Do you have
C
a
and lots of
for
C's
here
all around.
either?
Oh, Nate's going with a B.
Two Socks got his answer.
We
C.
got a C. The correct answer is C.
Nice. Good job. Good job.
Now, Mike, what's that other answer?
Representing for this side of the table.
In my opinion, the environmental conditions during its flowering stage obviously has a lot to do with their terpene production.
sure.
If you're low in humidity, like really low in humidity, that could really affect your terpene production for sure. I mean, there's
Yep.
quite a bit of factors.
Light intensity.
Heats definitely.
But we've run enough strains, you guys, to know that if it isn't in the genes, it's not coming out through the environment.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Exactly.
So-
That's why the right answer is C. I just knew that the environmental. I've seen
That's a huge difference.
I've seen huge swing different swings in the wintertime for silvertip versus you'll see it in the summertime. They're completely different plants almost. You couldn't tell the difference because the wintertime plants are purple and shimmery and shiny and beautiful, and then summer they're great plants, but they're more potent.
Yeah.
I think that was a BC for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
There's usually a couple
Great
mixed
questions.
questions every now
Yeah.
and then, or mixed answers every now and
Yeah.
then.
Well, we certainly
It's life.
we certainly get an education each and every time we have those questions, and Tanaki does a wonderful job of putting them together each and every week for us.
Awesome.
And now we've got some extra education, man. We're always highlighting those interesting topics and things that are going on in the cannabis community, man. So we will be right back with Cannabis News with Nate just after this.
This update's fresh and real. Tune in with Nate, it's the big deal. Cannabis News with Nate, let's go. Every story makes you glow. Stay informed, don't be late. Cannabis News with Nate.
All right, we're back with the news. So just real quick, we've got some things coming out of the Cannabis Control Division. They've got some new testing rules that are about to drop out. Obviously, some cytotoxins and stuff like that they're going to be testing for. They're also going to be looking for foreign matter as well, whether that be dirt, whether that be other things. Then they're talking about seeds and stems as well. So, I mean, it's definitely getting into a weird realm where they're, looking at whether or not your stock and stem size within your bag is a little bit too large. And I think there's going to be some people that are going to have issues with some of this stuff.
I could think of shop in particularly that's going to be very upset about a seed
Seed
Big
ratio.
problem.
Hey, those seeds are fire in those bags.
Sometimes they are.
Sometimes, but there's one spot that I'm not going to name drop, but we can consistently go pay it a visit and grab one of their ounces. And when you just break it up, all you hear is it sounds like something on a fucking metal roof. And you're just like, okay, so there's an ounce of flour pre-breakdown. After you get the seeds, just the seeds, you're probably at like 3/4 of an ounce.
It reminded me of
Pull
the
out
old
stems,
school days,
year and a half.
when you had the record and the card and you just, rolled those seeds out. You went to your guys, you got a lid or two and you came back and you maybe got a half a pinner.
Oh yeah, we used to break it up on a cutting board that had like the little groove around the side of it that Mom had in the kitchen. We'd break it up all on that, and then you just kind of shake the board where it was wooden, and then let it tilt a little bit. All the seeds would roll down into that thing.
I always sucked at that BB game though. So
Yeah.
I wasn't for me. I mean, the game bay that's done this for very long has probably dealt with seeds at some point.
Yeah.
You know, we've had a couple episodes, but we clean it out and put it in pre-rolls.
Yeah.
We're not going to sell a seed to somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I think there's a lot to be said about people who truly quality control their stuff and really take pride in what they're putting out on the shelf, and rather than just trying to push out as much as they can, whatever they can.
And I'd say there's a big difference. I mean, if a couple get through here and there, you know, nobody's really hating on that. Some people might be a little harsher than others, but when it's like a consistent, like all the time over a long period, and it's a lot of seed, it's like, that's just not been quality controlled properly.
So the other thing,
I would say you just get the bonus of growing your own. Buying that.
I supplied a lot of home growers this year. That's
I definitely get that argument. It depends on, you know, the genetic, and if it's seeding out because they've done something wrong, or if it's a stressed out genetic, and then everybody's putting all that time into growing these seeds because they're thinking they're going to get that gym, and they're just getting the rough, man. They're getting no time.
The bottom is, as you start growing seeds, you stop growing THC, you stop growing
terpenes, all that stuff. Yeah,
it doesn't produce it. You know, it doesn't produce trichomes, doesn't produce terpenes. That's the main reason we're super concerned about.
Right.
It. You know, you're not going to get the same quality.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, and it doesn't taste good. But yeah, I mean, it occasionally happens. There's a lot of problems.
Yeah, I'm just
genetics are wonky.
I'm curious as to how they're going to enforce this rule, though. You know, I mean, it's some weird shit that I think a lot of people with too many degrees try to think of, and it's not really applicable in the real world to a lot of the stuff that they're trying to do. I mean, how many seeds are too many seeds? Is 3 enough? Is 10 too many?
No more than 3 per quarter.
Right. You know, and as I think it's Daniel or maybe Hannah or somebody, even Tanaki has pointed out, we've had people come into our shop and bitch that there isn't seeds in our weed. They're like, dude, how the hell am I going to, you know, get a bag seed that I can go home and grow with? So.
We'll sell this.
Right. Here's the seed, buddy. Like,
yeah.
Well, $20, thanks.
If you're going to pay $150 for an ounce or more, then you might as well spend them $150 on seeds. You know, good genetics.
Yeah.
That's like the regional thing, though. Like out here, seeds are dope. People will collect seeds, trade seeds. You know, they're always talking back and forth. On the East Coast, you get a fucking seed in your weed. Let somebody find a seed, and they're like, "What the fuck? This is bullshit." Here, seeds are worth something. Like you actually, like if you've got a bag of some seeds that you've got from a specific strain or something, like this, people are willing to barter and trade, and you know you can really grow your garden that way.
Yeah.
But out there, they're like seeds out the window. That's where you just
So another thing that's coming out of the Cannabis Control Division that we need to actually tell everybody about is the new transfer hub. This is something that they laid out in their newsletter, but they, you know, really, it's a new thing. They didn't really do anything to inform the industry other than pop it in a newsletter. They're starting to hit people with deficiency reports on not using the transfer hub. So before you used to do a fest, write down, you know, where you're going to go, what time you're going to get there. Now they actually have a hub that's within the metric system. You've got to go through it, you know, punch in. And the other thing you have to do, which is pretty crazy, is you got to go into metric and you actually have to give yourself permission to utilize this hub. The way that they rolled it out in the newsletter, it seemed like it might be an optional thing, but now they're giving people a warning in their deficiency reports that they're not utilizing the system, and they're telling them that they're not finding anybody right now because it's just initially being rolled out, but it's something you got to do. So there's some steps that are involved in doing it. We had a quick video. We had
is there. It's just a very nice version.
Yeah, you know, and
very well put from a way that, you know, the Cannabis Control Division would put it. But it was more just an idea to show that it took us 10 minutes to put this video together.
Right.
And they could have very easily given some instructional videos to the community and stuff like that. So, I mean, if you log on to Metric, you know, you're going to get into your transfer area. You're going to go to your transfer, drop down to your hub tab. There's a new tab
portion there that says hub. You're going to click into that. And that's where you're going to set up all your transfers of any of your cannabis that you're doing for wholesale, anything else like that. That'll also, so when you depart, there's a button that you have to scroll far off to the right-hand side. You have to hit when you depart. You have to hit when you arrive. You have to hit whether it's rejected or not. And the other thing that doesn't seem like it's very intelligent is when they get to your shop, you typically have to receive your order. Now, if you see Roy walking through the door bringing some good, and all of a sudden, you hit it on your side that he's arrived, but he hasn't hit it on his side that it arrived, they start to ding him and say, hey, wait a minute, you didn't do this properly. And so go ahead.
It so completely, if you make a mistake, which I have before, so you'll have multiple packages you're sending to different people, and I've clicked arrive on the wrong package.
Right.
For the one that I wasn't going to deliver until the next day, and couldn't edit it then. It's locked up. You can't do anything with it at all. You're only going to have you're going to be a late delivery. That's your only option. You can't edit your manifest. If you make a mistake in the arrival or departure, it's locked.
Yeah.
You can't do anything. So, it sets you up for another failure because you you clicked the wrong button.
Which
and
is
there's
easy
no
to
back.
do
It's
when
very
you're
easy to do.
dealing on a phone.
Particularly when we're trying to do it on a phone. And it's
it's
very, very difficult. And there's
It's
no
not
recourse.
put together
There's-
well at all.
There's no way to correct the problem. There's no way to correct your error of hitting the wrong button.
Yeah, so I think it's something that probably going to need a little more assessing out. Something that maybe the industry needs to talk to the Cannabis Control Division about and try to get a little more dealt with. But the thing about it is when these rollouts happen, we get very little information other than maybe a newsletter. Which, if you have time to go through your emails, look for a Cannabis Control newsletter that comes out. Go through all the items that they're saying that need to be done. And these rollouts seem to happen quite frequently, and there's very little that we seem to be able to do to influence how it actually operates, and we just have to deal with the inefficiency of it all.
I read the newsletter. I didn't pay attention to it. I thought, oh, cool. They've got this new thing that will, if you want to track, you'll be able to. But there was nothing in it at all that said it was mandatory. And your deficiency checklist, your inspection checklist that you download and you go, checklist before your inspection doesn't mention the transfer hub at all, even now.
Right. Yeah, and so it's hard for a business owner to know and to prepare for some of these things without proper education, and so I think
to be punished for it or threatened by the CCD one way or another in their language is what I get angry about. I get very personalized.
Yeah.
My whole world is revolved around this life and what we put everything we have into this. And they're like, no, if you agree that we were right and there was no way you would have won if you took this to court. And if you settle on this, then you agree that we're right. I'm like, no, I agree that you're fining me and you're going after me for a clerical error and now telling me that I can't fix it.
Yeah.
And it's uncurable. What is an uncurable deficiency?
Well, and I think they need to come up with some better definitions as well. I mean, they come up with this idea that it's an uncurable deficiency. By whose definition? What is uncurable about it? And we get hit with a lot of those. I hear this from a lot of people. They try to operate their business as best they can, but there's constantly a litany of stuff that they're being hit with, and this isn't something that happens in any other business. Bars don't have to deal with this. People who, pharmacists who deal fentanyl or who deal controlled substances don't have to deal with this. So I think we need to start getting a little more reflection from people that cannabis businesses are here. We're legitimate businesses. The people of this state have voted that they want legalized cannabis businesses. And, it's something that needs to be treated just like any other normal business. And we need to stop being beat up on because we choose to provide a product that Montana consumers want. Yeah. And one of the things that Montana consumers really want as well is a nice fat tattoo. I got Adam over there holding that gift certificate.
It was just like a hint to remind them, man.
Segue.
Yeah, make sure you're hitting that @highlight in those comments, guys. Tag your friends. Make sure everybody's getting back in that chat. You want to be here and win this, guys. So hit that @highlight. And if you could do us a favor, man, Also, drop in those comment sections. Do a hashtag 9pipe out there. You know, let's get that hashtag boosted up for 9pipe.
Yeah.
Yes. Check us out on Instagram. We do treat it as a true educational media. We show a lot of the things we do. That's Ninepipe Organics at 9pipe Organics on Instagram.
Get over there and check them out, folks.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So real quickly, going out there into the rest of the world of what's going on outside of Montana, the appeals court hears a marijuana prohibition case in alignment hearing plaintiffs in Safe Streets Alliance versus Hickenlooper case are challenging the federal government's ability to enforce marijuana prohibition in states where it is legal. They basically have come in the initial federal district court shot their challenge down. They appealed it. The 5-panel judges agreed to give them a hearing on it. And what they're basically stating is that the federal government has gone so long with not enforcing any cannabis laws within states that have legalized cannabis laws that they actually do not have the right constitutionally due to the Commerce Clause to actually control intrastate commerce within a state. And so that's the challenge there, that they don't have the right to challenge, or they don't have the right to control that. We'll see how that plays out. But they did give them a hearing today, and there was oral arguments that happened in that case. So that could be something that impacts us pretty heavy.
I could see a nice common ground being where interstate commerce is allowed between states that have state regulated legalities, but then not being okay if you had to go through a state that did not have legalities. So currently, until Idaho does it, Montana and Oregon would have something blocking them from interstate commerce.
Yeah,
I can see that being
We're
fair.
an island still.
With so many, plurality of
We
states,
don't want Oregon.
cannabis laws that, have either medical or a recreational field, I think we're going to be in a position to where, we're basically seeing the last Netflix series of prohibition.
I hope so.
So
I hope
too.
so. And then what would be, see, I'm rabbit holing here because then it's like, I'm like, if you got to have a state that's connecting, you're going to be like playing connect the dots. You're going to go over from Oregon to Montana, then kind of cross through the Dakota right there for medical and then shoot down. And it would be all kind of crazy, like a zigzag back and forth. But then like, what would we say about like flying it? Because you didn't technically go through said state that did not follow the state regulated cannabis laws.
You'd have to talk to the TSA about that one.
Pretty sure you're in federal airspace.
Yeah.
Right.
See,
TSA may not care, but who knows?
ladies at home, when you're asking a man and he's staring off and you're just like, what are you thinking about? It's just rabbit holing like that. It's like, well, what with this and what with that? And that's why we're just like nothing.
We're in the nothing box.
Yeah.
It's like, he's
Nothing.
dead.
Yeah.
So the other thing that we've got out there is a wonderful study that is helping out Fido. So a new study published in the Pharmaceutical Biology reveals that CBD can counteract the effects of accidental THC ingestion in dogs. The research led by Dr. Lauren Martin of Colorado State University suggests CBD works by calming overactive endocannabinoid receptors. This is crucial as an accidental exposure in cannabis, which we might know from somebody showing the camera right now.
It works awesome, guys. Not lying.
It's on your dog.
No, it's the only thing that gets me level again. I green out a lot if I have a lot of edibles.
It's crazy
It's a problem.
that they'll put that much money into some studies when they could get this information from your friendly neighborhood stoner.
I mean,
Yeah.
we've been
Pie head on the corner and be like, hey, if you just take some CBD, you'll be all right. And they're like, no. Lab coat's like, no, take some CBD, you'll be all right. And they're like, okay, yeah, absolutely.
See, we're the ultimate scientists. We do all kinds of experiments. We do botany. We do,
we fuck around and find out.
Amen. And like most scientists, as Roy said earlier, and we can definitely attest to, there's a lot of fucking failure before the success comes.
The light bulb did not come on the first try. It was probably like 897,
Yeah, you remember
It
our
takes a
heroic banana bread failure?
Oh man,
The Pepto-Bismol banana bread failure. Let me tell you, hell
had
yeah.
everybody studying.
Banana bread, hell yeah. I was a goldfish that night, dude. 3 seconds. Say something. I'm like, fuck, I forgot what we were talking about. And we
Speaking
keep
about
going.
gold, the man in gold, old Snoop Diggy Dog.
Yeah.
Apparently, he has launched a new CBDA line of shit. He's not getting into the
THCA?
real. THCA line of products. Going to be sending it out across the globe, and we're going to have to see how that plays out with the interstate crap that's going on there. But I think that's also a good sign that, basically prohibition is pretty well done, and we're going to start seeing a lot more of celebrity type products getting pushed around.
The state's regulated Delta 8 out. So, the only legal cannabinoid is Delta 9 THC. So that still is not THC.
Right.
And the Farm Bill loophole that allows that hemp derived THCA is likely to close, from what I understand. It's in the language of the new Farm Bill already to close that loophole completely.
Sure.
It just needs to be signed.
Yeah, I think Snoop has been working on this new line for a couple of years now. They've been talking about it, possibly getting it ready and up and running and things like that, where he's lending his name to it or whatever, however it may be. But that was back when the Farm Bill still had that loophole, and now that it's launching, I don't think he's quite prepared for it. So unfortunately, I think Snoop Dogg might be running into another dispensary debacle, kind of similar to how that first one went out pretty quick.
Yeah, I think a lot of these celebrities get involved. They get convinced of some of these ideas, and they sound good on paper, and they sound like they're going to be a really good, viable business maker for them. But yeah, there's something to be said about the hard work of actually putting your work in the soil and into the plants and everything else like that, not just creating some quick product that's going to make you a little bit of money.
Yeah, just what is it? We've seen that thing this morning with somebody that I think got behind a little bit of a business venture that they thought was going to be something, and then it ended in a rug pull.
Oh yeah,
Old Haktua.
She spit on that thing.
Coin, and then she just spit on everybody with a rug pull that just within the first 3 hours on her crypto.
And the thing about it is I'm not even gonna bag on her. I'm going to bag on whoever the hell was running that crypto project. If she can show me that she can write in any kind of computer language whatsoever, then I'll say she was the one who created that cryptocurrency. But they just used her like any of the other celebrity endorsements, to throw this coin out there. And that was the people that basically developed that out, and they're trash, and that's
technically, is it false advertising though? Because she was the spokesperson, so they were technically in your face telling you they were going to spit on you. Like they couldn't have gotten a better spokesperson than Haktua when they were letting you know you were about to get screwed over.
Ain't that some shit? And my position, I know that she's pretty popular and stuff like that. I don't know the gal. She seems like she has some pretty decent intelligence from some of the interviews they've done and stuff like that. But why she became so popular just from simply making that statement. It was funny. It was good. Haha. We can all laugh fast and walk. But people are taking financial advice from Haktua girl. I sort of don't feel all too sorry for him.
Yeah, unlike that one, this is for educational purposes only.
And this ain't financial advice.
Not financial
so
advice.
Speaking about Haktua girl and stuff like that, we got to talk a little bit about the millennials. They're a pretty good segment that's part of the market. What do you guys think is their favorite product in the cannabis world?
We make up 60% of the room right now, guys. Come on.
Concentrates.
It's gotta be concentrated. Vape pens. It is.
You guys got
vape pens.
So amazingly enough, a Headset Consumer Trend Report shows millennials account for 50% of pre-roll purchases, outpacing all other generations. This shifting aligns millennials' preference for convenience and standardized dosing. So they like the pre-rolls a lot better than they like the vape pens. Apparently.
I'll tell you what, man, kids these days just get so lazy, man. They can't roll their own weed, man.
That's
to be fair, we're all in Bozeman, so that's kind of where we're going.
It's going to be like operating the rotary telephone. They're just going to be like,
you bring me a tray and some home papers, and I'll show you the sign of a misspent youth.
I
whip them up.
There used to be a rule in our circles. If someone passed you the weed and you could not roll, they took it back and said, you can't smoke. 100%. I remember school getting a whole fucking pack of papers, a box of Phillies, and sitting in my room with the same weed and trying to roll it in each different one for like a whole day to make sure I learned to roll. That way, when I went back up to the friend's house and was in the circle, if it got handed to me, I was not going to be told I wasn't fucking smoking that day.
I had to learn to roll in much the same way. My friend Kevin Baldry rolled all the joints, and he broke both his wrists jumping off a trampoline.
Shit.
So he couldn't roll anymore. So
Holy shit.
I had to learn
Yeah.
in a hurry.
It's your friendship right there.
Yeah, damn.
Very good
All right.
educational word.
That
right
was
there,
all I
guys.
did for him was roll the joints. So
You know, our daughter had to learn the hard way that she was really in love with our son-in-law because he hugged a deer doing about 120 on a motorcycle, broke both of his wrists as well. And guess what? You can't do
Oh, I know.
in addition to rolling a joint.
Yeah.
You can't wipe the old behind. And guess what? When you're young and in love, you learn real quickly after wiping a behind a couple of months that you
What
love
love
that
really
person
means. Yeah.
really, really, really well.
I'm just thinking, like, in future retrospect, everybody make sure if anyone in the group is getting ready to do something that may be a little unwise or dangerous, make sure that person in your group isn't your designated roller. It's like, wait, you roll, you go. You never roll me.
You
can try
go.
that shit.
So I
So-
got a cute little joke thing. So we joke around about our daughter being the princess, and my husband actually came at me the other one time, and he's like, "Well, at least the princess can roll her own joint." And so I may not roll well, but at least I can roll a good pregnant dolphin and do the boys from Oklahoma pretty good well.
So, real quickly, some good news out there in our last little bit in the financial world for cannabis. According to a recent report from LeafLink, the U.S. cannabis market is expected to grow to approximately $55 billion by 2030.
A billion
So,
with a B.
Billion with a B, reflecting annual growth rate of roughly 11%. So, if businesses can realize that annual growth of somewhere around 11%, I mean, that does give people hope and something to sort of really look at for future growth. And that's something for investors to look at as well as they're, coming into the cannabis market and starting to bankroll some of the cannabis businesses out there. I know that they've got the same safe banking bill that's probably going to flop out, but I know it's going to get reintroduced, probably get pushed through fairly quickly, and that should open up cannabis lending to a lot of different businesses. So with that is the news.
That would really help businesses, in certain cases of, trying to acquire properties like one that Nathan here happens to have listed with his real estate company.
Yeah,
one
so-
of the absolute largest. Go ahead and tell about it.
So we were able to secure a listing. Right now, we can't, due to the client's request, we aren't dropping the name just yet. They've got some more logistical stuff that they need to get into place before we drop it, though. But they are one of the largest cannabis operators in the state of Montana. They have presence in over 5 different stores. They are currently doing roughly about $10 million annual revenue through their business. We're talking 15-acre grow facility, 36,000 square foot indoor grow facility. I mean, these things, it's a pretty big concern. Right now it's listed. You can find that listing out there on several of the different listing sites, 420properties.com, Biz Buy Sell, several others at a cool $50 million. That's right. You got a cannabis business in Montana that's worth $50 million. They actually had a valuation and everything done of their business, and it valued at $72 million. But they figure, now's the time for them to move on to some more interesting projects that they're wanting to get done. And they want somebody else to come in and take it over. And I think this is one of those amazing businesses. There's a few other cannabis businesses that are out there for sale as well. So if anybody's wanting to add to their portfolio, maybe get into the Montana market. I know there's some franchise opportunities available. Some other things, and we use the term franchise very loosely. There's people that are doing some management operating agreements and stuff like that, and I know that the CCD has allowed that for different businesses around the state. And so I know it's out there, and Montana market is booming just like anybody else. So we've had pretty good growth consistently throughout the last 11, almost 12 months now. And we'll see how it goes from there. Hopefully we can get some tax relief soon, because that's the thing that I think is killing a majority of the cannabis businesses out there, is just having to deal with the absorbent amount of tax.
That and affordable banking.
Yes.
Shit.
Affordable banking is another big one for sure.
We've got another interesting legislative session coming up where we've
Yeah.
got a lot of there's a big fight ahead.
I agree.
So, the people that want cannabis in the state need to at least find out what the issues are. One of the great places to do that's the Montana Cannabis Industry Association, that you certainly know well.
Yeah.
They've led the legislative fight for many, many years, and
Yeah,
they
Kate
can definitely use all our support this year for sure. It's an uphill fight.
Yeah, Kate, she's done a wonderful job representing the MTCIA at several different legislative sessions now. I know that they've got a pretty good crew over there focusing on education and some other things. I hope that works out. I hear they have a plan to go to the Rotunda and maybe do some educational stuff. Last time we tried that, it backfired on us pretty big time. I hope this time it does.
We're trying to approach it a little more, as a industry, that we are a legitimate industry, trying not to have, I was just at the state convention, and there's not going to be any weed. There's not going to be any, so we're trying to present it more as, here's what the actual facts, here's the revenue that's created, here are the jobs that are created. The Living Soil Alliance that we're also a part of is going to have a slight representation there. We're going to have at least fun part of it.
Yeah.
So there's I don't know if you're familiar with Living Soil.
Yeah,
Alliance.
actually we had Sacred Sun Farms and all those guys.
So,
and absolutely.
They're also, they're trying to help fund that rotunda thing. Free food goes a long ways.
Okay.
And we're hoping that we can generate a little bit of support by giving away some good free food.
You talk about that, and then you talk about your wife, and then back home, I always said that the way I'm going to get kidnapped is free Indian taco on the side of a truck. So
absolutely.
Right, or it's going to take you. Is that what you're saying?
Free food, that's for sure.
Go ahead and take a plate.
That's how you get me.
Well, speaking of giveaways, with us coming into the close of the show here, it is about time for us to do our spin for the giveaway there, and we are going to be seeing who's coming up. So make sure you hit that highlight in the comments, because we're going here in just a couple of seconds. But while we're waiting on that, for that last couple of seconds, I do want to get that plug in for Raw Botanics, guys. Make sure you're checking out rawbotanics.com for an amazing line of CBD products, from balms, lotions, different topical sublinguals. They've even got a few different mushrooms options for microdosing and things like that. So make sure you slide over to rawbotanics.com and use promo code 406Budcast to save 25% at checkout.
All right, we're going to draw.
All right, let's draw.
Watch you say Adam.
Let's just say Budcast. I hope. Don't do it.
Oh.
Congratulations, Caleb. Just checking, you guys are in the Billings area, right? Or visit the Billings area? Okay.
They're actually a customer.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so we'll just leave this over at 406 Organics, and you can pick it up over there.
Well, we had a wonderful show tonight. Absolutely appreciate everybody out in the chat. Appreciate Mike and Nate out there joining us remotely. You guys keep up the good work out there with Ninepipe Organics. Roy and then Terry, we appreciate you joining us in the chat. And Roy, thank you for coming out and visiting us in the studio.
Real pleasure to be here, you guys. Really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, anybody else want to sign us off?
I was just going to say it's been awesome chatting with you guys.
Absolutely. It's been a great night, guys.
Hanging out tonight, everybody in the chat, everybody that's watching at home.
And if you're tuning in after, guys, definitely still make sure you go through, like some of those comments, like some of those reactions. Tuning in on Spotify after, man, make sure you're tuning in to all those episodes. Really booming over there on the Spotify. So we appreciate all those new followers, all those new views. I mean, we've gotten up thousands upon thousands of views on the Spotify
and
really
YouTube.
Growing. Our YouTube starting to really grow. And so just shout out to all you guys, man. But much love and appreciation to all of you guys. You really help us make this show great.
And that growth is coming
from.
from.
Say to the people in the comment section, if you didn't get a chance to answer or ask any of those questions, like, you hit us up on our Instagram. We are happy to answer any questions you might have.
Absolutely right. Well, and one of the things that I got to say about that growth is it's not just happening here in Montana or the United States. We're actually getting a pretty good following from all over the world, Middle East, UK, Germany.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's definitely nice
A
to
couple
see.
in Australia, a couple out in like the African continent.
Yeah.
I think some Nova Scotia.
Right.
You know, we're getting out there to the trailer park boys. You know,
Yeah.
they're out there.
Hanging out with Sasquatch.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, stay lifted, folks. Thank you guys. Have a great night.
Thank you guys.